Welcome back to Energetically You. I'm your host, Megan Swan, the creator of the Sustainable Integrated Wellness Approach. And this podcast is for ambitious women who are looking to level up. And what does that even mean, level up? Well, I think it can mean a lot of things. And I also think that the women that are looking to level up and know they want to level up know what that means. They might not know what it looks like, but something deep inside of you might be saying that that is calling you, that you are looking for the next level version of yourself. Today, I have the privilege of interviewing one of my colleagues and friends, and she embodies the woman who has already leveled up. And those of us who feel like they are leveling up know that it is a journey. It is never a destination. It is an ongoing process. Today, I'm going to chat with Vanessa Aviles. She is a certified life and mindset coach who uses a variety of positive psychology tools like NLP, EFT tapping, T.I.M.E techniques, and clinical hypnosis to help create quicker inner shifts for her clients. She is here to help her clients uncover their deepest limiting beliefs that have them holding them back so they can step into their power as co-creator of their most beautiful life they could ever imagine. Essentially, she helps them navigate their external world through their internal compass. And we'll talk about her whole framework around the compass and your third eye. It's really a beautiful conversation. What sets Vanessa apart is that she is a dot connector, a root excavator, and a pattern breaker. Her goal is to teach and mentor while having fun. I know that her clients always have a lot of fun working with her. Mindset work for her is the most important hard work that you will ever do, but it should also be fun and adventurous. She is also able to connect to her clients' stories because she's been in so many of their shoes. She would say that her biggest distinguishing factor is that she holds major space for her clients while having a unique approach of combining the practical with the spiritual. So I will leave you with that and just let you know that this is a juicy conversation full of emotion, but also laughter. So let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to Energetically You. I am here today with one of my colleagues and friends, Vanessa Aviles. She is a life and mindset coach specializing in using NLP, EFT, and T.I.M.E techniques, clinical hypnosis, and all things inner shifts. She is going to tell us about her incredible work. And Vanessa, how are you? Why don't you start with introducing yourself and telling us your journey? How did you get to be a life and mindset coach?
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. This is so much fun. My story really takes many twists and turns, but to condense it, let's just say that when I was in college, I was intrigued by psychology and considered that field. But because at the time my father deterred me from it, I went into more the advertising marketing route. And although I loved what I did, I was never really passionate. I'm a free spirit by nature. So just that very corporate vibe just never really aligned with me. There's nothing wrong with it, but I knew it wasn't for me. So I felt like I was forcing it. So after, 10 years of working in corporate, I'm just like, I need to fly. I need to be a free bird or a free butterfly. And so, I was looking at different avenues. I started getting more into health and fitness myself for my own personal journey. And I ended up leaving a pretty good job to pursue something that would allow me to grow in the more digital online space. But the atmosphere, the culture was very toxic. And literally, I went into work physically ill. Within being hired, within 2 months of that, the entire creative staff quit. And the owner, there was no HR department, it was a smaller boutique firm, was a bully to everyone. But I don't give up easily. And I was like, I'm going to make this work. And I didn't make it work. 2 weeks before my 1 year, I decided to walk out. I literally walked out, and I'm a planner. And so to walk out without anything really lined up was pretty scary. But I've always been a bit of a risk taker, and I did. And I went into health and fitness. So I did all the certifications for mainly group fitness, personal training. And although I wasn't a nutritionist, because of my own journey, I could, lightly speak to that. So that was a journey of about 4 to 5 years. And then I was organically coaching people in mindset. And again, circling back to my interest in psychology, it was just a 180 moment. And that's what I decided to pursue. And so about a year and 3 months ago is when I officially opened the doors to Soul Compass, which is my mindset practice. Yep.
I love that. So can you tell us, I know for those of who are watching the video, but you won't see it on the podcast, but you have a compass behind you on the wall. Can you tell us a little bit about the compass and what that represents?
Oh my goodness. So it's just a bit of a story. I can tell I'm a storyteller, and I didn't know this was going to be like the video too, but hi everyone. But, so basically I was in this mode of talking about how a lot of times we work through our external environment. We make goals from our external place. And so I was using a lot of these terms, external versus internal compass, and it just really stuck. And I love the True North idea. I'm very spiritual, and I felt that, it's very important to use our higher faculties to steer us in life. And if we use our soul as our compass, we cannot go wrong. So that's kind of the birth of that. But the reason why I have the eye as the center point of the compass is actually it's a tribute to my mother, who passed away when I was only 7. And she gave me one of the biggest lessons at the tender age of 7 to follow my third eye. And the way that she told the story impacted me. So I remember it verbatim from being 7 years old, and it actually guided me throughout my life. And so that's why there's the eye inside the compass.
Can you tell us the story?
Yeah, sure. So it was actually, I'm going to try not to get emotional. It was within a month of her passing. I'm good.
Take your time.
And she sat me down and she said, so I'm Greek. My Aviles comes from my husband. He's Puerto Rican, but I'm very Greek. So we had just moved to the States. So I was a fish out of water. And she sat me down, and Vanessula is little Vanessa, and Mu means mine in Greek. So Vanessula, Mu, come here and sit down. My little Vanessa, come here and sit down. She goes, I want to tell you something. She goes, but first I want to know, how many eyes do you have? I said, again, I'm 7. I said, Ma, duh, I have 2 right here. And I pointed to them. 1, 2. She goes, no, Vanessula, you actually have 3. And the third one is right here. And she gently touched my forehead. And she said, and although you cannot see it, It will guide you the most, and you must listen to it more than these two eyes. It can see far greater than these two eyes, and you must listen to it the most. And at the age of 7, I didn't quite really grasp what she was saying at the time. But somewhere, somehow, I mean, it stayed with me subconsciously. Mm-hmm. And at some point in my 20s, she said, it came up to surface. And I remember that moment. And it was just like this weird time traveling. And I was like, my God, this lesson that she shared with me that I forgot has literally been guiding me. I can tell you stories of how listening to my intuition and not really understanding what it was at the time literally guided me out of circumstances and situations that I could be dead. And I'm not over exaggerating. So,
wow.
Mm-hmm.
I have chills.
My mama was a wise woman.
Yeah, well, very ingenious of her to tell you like in a story format, right? Because we learn so much through stories, and particularly you being a child, it's just like the best gift she could have given you, right?
Yep. And it really was. So, yeah.
So what do you do to tune in or maybe even trust? Because I feel like as women, we're all aware of this inner intuition, but there's so many external things basically teaching us not to trust it, not to let it guide us. Do you have, you could speak to like what you do with your clients, or more personally, like practices, or how is it that you learn to trust your inner guidance?
That is such a great yet loaded question. I think there's a couple of things. So I think that one of the simplest things that we can do that we hear of and we know, one of the, to take a step back real quick, there's one thing I always really walk through and teach with my clients. Where is your knowing and doing gap? And so we know oftentimes what we need to do, but we're not doing it. And often the bridge to that is our blocks, traumas, boundary issues, all of these different things that are not allowing us to do the things that we know to do. So it's really, so the first part of that, even though we've heard this piece of advice, especially when the personal spiritual development space, is to get quiet. We know this, we know to do it, but oftentimes we don't. We may oftentimes use the excuses of we don't have time. Oftentimes, though, that excuse to me is fear of what we may face. Mm-hmm. So quiet time is very essential, and it's part of the morning routine that I like to work with my clients. So having that sacred time where you can really get grounded with yourself, but also have the opportunity to connect with God. I'm a God girl. I think that is where your intuition and your faith in yourself, and then the faith that you're going to be guided really comes in. And the more you do it consistently, the stronger it gets. So that's like the big part. I think the second part is really removing any of these weighted barriers that are usually self-inflicted, but then some are because of circumstances or hurt that other people have caused you that haven't necessarily been healed or dealt with. Yeah. So a lot of times when we have that, it becomes this shield of allowing ourselves to listen to that intuition. This barrier, in other words.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I love everything you said. I think definitely having I mean, I think it's ideal in the mornings, but if that doesn't work with you, some sort of daily grounding
Correct.
practice so that you can tune into your, whatever your higher guidance is. And,
Yep.
essentially, I personally believe it goes back to the third eye. Like, essentially, it's all just connecting with, like, you already have all the answers. And
Mm-hmm.
building that trust is the hard part, because we're taught that everything, all the answers are like somewhere in the future or outside of ourselves. I'm sure the journaling is a big part of it for you. Do you have any particular journaling exercises you love?
Yeah. So going back, yeah. So part of the morning, and I say morning routine, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Morning routines don't work for everyone. Usually though, I find it to be my preference and a lot of my clients, because you start your day that way. But again, I customize that for my clients. And what I like to do is create what I call the Mac Daddy routine. And that is your ideal, you get everything in. And I have that with 4 different pillars, where you have your self-care, you have your grounding work, which is basically your prayers, your meditations, your journaling, and then you have your subconscious programming. And that is when you, through autosuggestion or meditation, hypnosis, self-hypnosis, or listening to a hypnosis audio, it's basically reprogramming your subconscious mind with the thoughts that are aligned with what you're wanting to do. And then the 4th pillar is studying. Whatever you're wanting to step into, there's usually something we study. So that's your Mac Daddy, your 4 pillars for your Mac Daddy. And at the end of the day, if you think about it, that's a pretty significant amount of time. Exercise, self-care, the grounding and the prayer work, the meditations, the subconscious programming, and then the studying. That can be whatever time a client feels is appropriate for them, but usually that's going to take a little bit of time. And we can't do that every single day. Understood. Or we can split that up, right, in different pockets of time. But we're all busy. Life happens. So we have a baseline or an abbreviated version of that can take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. So it's like taking the most important pieces of that. And the whole point is to do it consistently over a long period of time, rather than an hour or 2 hours every month or every 2 months, right? It's about the compound effect. But going back to what you were saying, so within those 4 pillars, there are definitely different tactics that I use, and journaling is a big one, especially for the grounding work and the self-discovery, for sure.
Amazing. So the reprogramming, we had a different word for it, but the 3rd pillar, mm-hmm. is EFT tapping something that you would put in that category? Or
for sure, mm-hmm. Because that's part of the subconscious reprogramming. You can do EFT with affirmations, and you can also do EFT to just feel good. So if you're wanting to have that be a tool to help with any kind of subconscious reprogramming, EFT is a great way to couple that with affirmations. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been getting into that a lot recently. Can you speak to just like very briefly, how that works, what it is? I mean, for someone who has no idea.
Yeah, so EFT is emotional freedom tapping, and it can help from anything from, if you have a headache or you have some kind of like ailment that you want to remove, or you're wanting to do any kind of affirmation. So what it does, it helps with the central nervous system and helps kind of recalibrate your nervous system. So it gets it back into kind of that fine tuning, the way it's supposed to work, instead of having those blockages. So we do it in the points, the similar points on your body. Like for instance, top of your eyebrows, to the side, underneath your eyes, below your nose, your chin, your collarbone. These are the same points that are used in, oh my gosh, my brain just stopped. With the needles.
Acupuncture.
Thank you. That's the word, with acupuncture. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm finding it really interesting. I mean, really useful. I'm loving it. And I love that you can basically write your own script for it. Like it's so personalized.
It is. So it can work like if you have a headache. So, you can say, you tap your arm here to just kind of let your system know what you're about to do. And you say this headache, this headache, this headache, and you can do one round where you're basically pointing out the headache, and then you can do a second round to eliminate the headache. Is very simple yet very powerful. And then you can also use it for affirmations.
Yeah. Awesome. So can you tell, I love the third eye, and that is very Greek. What else do you bring of your Greek culture into your coaching or your framework?
Oh, wasn't expecting that question. That's a great question. Well, blue is my favorite color. So there's the blue. I do bring a lot of ocean vibes as well, a nod to my homeland, motherland. I think other than that, I mean, I can't really think of anything obvious right now that would be connected to directly or obvious that could be Greek. I philosophize a lot, but I don't know if you call that part of my business.
I like that. To me, I feel like the compass is kind of Greek, but it might be misguided.
Well, no, actually, that's not a bad observation, because the Greeks have always been sailors, very nautical. Yeah,
very nautical.
Very nautical.
So tell us about your current work, and what do you only work with women, or tend to work with women?
I tend to work with women. It's just who I naturally attract. My branding is very, more feminine energy for sure. But that doesn't mean that I haven't worked with men or that I can't. It's just the nature of the way it goes. Yeah.
So can you just quickly tell us, I don't know, like what are some common themes that you feel like people are dealing with right now in regards to the pandemic, or pivoting, or just in general this year?
I think the big thing is feeling good, or not feeling good. And, this is why I'm not going to unveil anything yet. I'm actually also getting into more of the energy healing right now. Ooh. And I think it will be a really great complement to the mindset work. And I think that's very important, especially for women, and especially for women who are empathic, because we oftentimes can work from a masculine energy place of trying to build our businesses, or we push instead of getting more into that feminine energy and really listening back to our intuition, and being okay with feeling good while growing, being okay with where I'm at while still pushing for the next level. And there is that beautiful tension balance between the two. And I'm really passionate about helping women owning the fact that they want to feel good. And I feel like a lot of times we get in a grind, or we feel like because we need to have more on our plate to be successful, or whatever the case may be, right? So feeling good has been one. And I think the other big piece is the visibility imposter syndrome component. That's been really big. And I think it's because more and more things are more visible. And so you're, especially if you're in the online space, you're having to really show, by being online, you're being vulnerable. And so that can be scary. And then that comes with all sorts of what ifs, or who's going to say this, or am I going to be found out, all these different things. So I think the visibility component and the feeling good component are big things, and self-sabotage, which goes along with both of those.
Yeah. I think I love that you said feeling good, because it seems so simple, but it's really, particularly as women, I think something we have an issue with, like just giving ourselves permission to feel good and to do nothing, like.
Great point, because we literally have like 100 tabs in our minds open all the time. Men have like one, maybe two. Yeah. Have you heard of I know it was in a book, but I don't know who it is and I can't quote it. But that men's brains and the way that they work is like a waffle. They have the little compartments, right? So when they're watching TV, they're watching TV. When they're at work, they're at work. When they're wanting to get all romantic and have sexy time, that's where their minds are. With us, we're spaghetti. So everything is all together, which is a little harder for us to be in those different little pockets. Yeah. So waffles and spaghetti.
Both good, but yeah, I think, that speaks to a lot. I think most, particularly women, are going to relate to that. I think it's so difficult, and increasingly in the online world, when we have like our personal and professional is so meshed sometimes.
Sure. Yep.
But it's even harder. But I really love what you said about feeling good, and I'm so curious to hear about what the energy work you're working on is. I yesterday had the privilege of, I won this session with a coach who teaches sensual movement. So it was a 30-minute guided sensual movement session, and it was pretty
a lot with the hips.
A lot with the hips, a lot of heart circles, and just like getting really comfortable. Also, like touching your own body, which I think most of us don't do. I mean, maybe, I don't know, I give myself foot massages before bed, but it's like a very intentional, non-sensual.
Right.
And there's like
it's more like, oh, my feet hurt. Yeah.
It's a different vibe than what this was. So, I just feel like there's just so much more feminine energy floating around, or like women are feeling more liberated to explore those sorts of things that are making them tune into, let's go back to your intuition and your feminine energy.
Amen to that. And absolutely. And I think, again, I saw about about having a gentle tension between masculine and feminine energy. And I'm a Libra, so I'm all about balance, and I have been all of my life. And so I think when it's always about, okay, if we're doing too much masculine energy, we get burnt out, we get tired, we're not having fun. And then we're too much in the feminine energy, we can, I don't want to say leave things too much to chance, but we're not having any kind of like specific strategy. And for some, it may work. But I know for me at least, and so far with my clients, having that tension balance between the two is really that beautiful, beautiful, juicy part, right? We're able to kind of flow between both. And we may have seasons where we're more feminine. We may have seasons that we're a little bit more masculine. But again, that gentle tension between the two. And I want to say it's kind of the way that nature is naturally is anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when something is out of whack in nature, what happens? Hurricanes.
Yeah. Big storms.
It's like, okay, it's not balanced. We have to clear it out. So yeah.
I like it. And you brought it back to the nautical.
I did. Oh, and I'm learning that also, you know, with empaths, it's not only about feelings, like as far as like feelings with people, there's also earth empaths. And so a lot of earth empaths are, and you have earth empath, you have to slow down when you say that. Earth empaths can really feel the destruction of Mother Earth. I found that interesting. And what's really cool about that, as you can see in my background, I have been bringing Mother Earth inside my house more and more. And I'm wondering if, as I'm even growing in my own journey, that part of me is also opening up. Because I remember as a kid, I wanted to just be such an advocate for Mother Earth. And then you get kind of stagnant as you grow a little older, for some people, at least for me. Mm-hmm. And then I've made another full circle there too. So interesting. And I've never heard of Earth Empath until in the last 6 months. I don't know if you have.
No, I never heard. So how do you know if you are one?
So far, I'm not an expert in this, but so far what I've understood is that when there is destruction, you feel it, just as if an emotional empath or an intuitive, I would consider myself more of an intuitive empath. Just as an emotional or an intuitive empath can feel the feelings of other people, Earth empaths can feel the hurt and the destruction of Mother Earth. But again, I'm not an expert, but that's what I've understood so far.
Wow, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think all of us can benefit from bringing more of Mother Earth inside our houses, in the form of plants, in the form of herbs. I mean, all the things. I'm a huge, everything plants is better in my world. And yeah, I think we all as children, I mean, most of my fondest memories, I was outside. Like I don't really have memories of my bedrooms as a kid, for example. It's all like trips I was on or forests that I went to or,
That is very true. Me too. And I was such, I know now it's probably, a bad word, but
you can swear.
I'm an 80s baby. No, tomboy. Apparently it's not the best term to use. I don't know, but I was definitely a boyish girl, whatever. I was, I mean, I don't know. So I would play with all the boys. I could get muddy. There was one point, I can't believe I'm going to say this and other people who I don't know are going to hear this, but again, I am 8 years old, still new to this country. And I really just didn't care. And I mean, I wasn't developed. I had no chest. Right. And I'm hanging out with the boys. We're bike riding and it was hot. And all the boys took their shirts off. I'm like, that's a great idea. And I took my shirt off too. And I'm riding around without a shirt. And they're like, you can't do that. You're a girl. I'm like, what? I look just like you. I played with frogs. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I love that story. I've been having some moments lately where, I did a reel, for example, a couple of weeks back, and it was the first time I'd gone braless in a while. And I'm like, this is so freeing. Why don't I do this more often?
I still can't 100% get behind, for me, the braless thing. I always feel like I'm exposed, and I'm always.
But it's all this self-judgment, right? About how they should hang and look and all these things. And
that part I don't care. I mean, the hanging part I don't care because I'm still a little perky. But and they're natural, but I always get cold easily. So that's what I'm a little self-conscious about.
And you're concerned about. I get it.
That's the main thing that I'm concerned about is that I'm always is it cold in here? So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I if you're interested in experimenting, I recommend that you try it. It's been since living in Mexico where it's that's Beach Megan. Beach Megan can wear flowy shirts and go braless. And anyway, might bring it more into the non-Beach Megan.
Ooh. Well, I will do it if I have those little pasty thingies that you put on top.
Yeah, I don't remember what those are called. That was a great Sex and the City episode.
Yeah. So I have those for certain dresses, again, but I always have to wear those.
A little something.
All
right. Well, let's wrap it up. What do you want to...
Oh my gosh, we're wrapping it up on the nipple conversation. And that's a wrap, Vanessa. Thanks for talking boobs.
Bring us back to your compass.
Bring us back to the compass. All right. It was fun. I'm just teasing. So what was your question?
Well, what are you working on right now? If you want to tell us what you're going to be launching next, or how can people currently hang out with you, work with you?
Got it. Yeah. So right now, actually, the main ways to currently work with me is one-on-one. That can be customized based off anybody's needs. So a great way to determine that is just to hop on a, complimentary discovery call. I'm currently running a mastermind that's ending in about 3-ish months. So I'm going to be opening the waiting list for that probably mid to late May. And that's going to be a 6-month mastermind. We're wrapping up the first cohort, and our retreat is going to be in Tulum, by the way.
Nice.
I'm very excited about that. And then I'm also going to be launching in April for the first time half and full day VIP days. So I know some people really want to work very intensely on specific things and just kind of get it out of the way instead of having to have the weekly sessions. So I really want to offer that, and that's coming up in April.
Smart. I love it.
Thank you.
You're so brilliant.
So are you. Seriously. I always love you.
Well, I'm so glad that we connected through Sabrina and that we're staying in contact because I love everything that you're doing, and I can't wait to see all the amazing things that you keep doing. And yeah, congratulations on all of your success so far. How do people connect with you best? Instagram, email? What do you want to share?
So Instagram is the main social media platform I am on, and that is the handle is at I am Vanessa Aviles, and then Vanessa Aviles is my website.
Awesome. Well, if you want to connect with Vanessa, I'll be sharing all those details in the show notes. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. I loved everything that we talked about, particularly the third eye. I'm going to go teach my children about their third eye. So thank you so much for that takeaway.
Oh, I just got chills. It's just such, it's like a gift. I can't even speak. So thank you. I know my mom is watching over, and she appreciates the love that.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to Energetically You. I hope that this episode has helped you to tune into your natural energy sources so that you feel more energized and focused throughout your day. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a second to rate and review. Each review helps us to help more ambitious women just like you accomplish their goals. Don't forget to take a screenshot, share it on social or in your Instagram stories, and tag me at Megan Swan Wellness. See you soon.